Oh, they got it. They got it. Got nice big drawings. Look at that.
Friends, at this time we are going to begin the funeral services for Mr. Joseph Mittelman. If you have a cell phone or a pager, I would ask for you to please take a moment to turn it off or place it in the silent mode. And officiating today's services will be Rabbi Aaron Melman and Cantor Stephen Storr from Congregation Beth Shalom in Northbrook.
הצור תמים פועלו, כי חוד רחב משפט, אל אמונה ויענה וצדיק וישר הוא. הצור תמים בכל פועל מי אומר, לא מטיפה להשליט במטה ומעל, ממית ומחיים ורד שלוויה. צדיק בחוד רחב, הצור תמים מלך אפיים ומלא רחמים. חמלנה וחוסנה רבות בנים כי לך אדון השליחות והרחמים. אדם בן שנה יהיה ולב שנים יחיה מה יתרון לו כלא יהיה ברוך דיין אמת ממית מחיה. ידענו אדוני כי צדק משפטך תסתר בדוברך ותזכה בשופטיך ואין להרח עמידת שופטיך צדיק אתה אדוני וישר משפטך. גדול עצה ורב הללויה אשר עיניך בכוחות הכל דרכי בני אדם לתת לאיש כדורך וכפרים על עליו להגיד כי אשר אדוני צורי ולא עוולת בו אדוני נתן ואדוני לקח אישם אדוני מבורך והוא רחום יכפר עוון ולא ישחית והרבה להשיבה פה ולא יאיר כל חמתו.
The dust returns to the earth as it was, but the spirit returns to God who gave it. May Joe's soul be bound up in the bond of life eternal. Send comfort, Adonai, to all those who mourn and grant strength to those whose burden is sorrow. Eternal God, creator of all life, you give, you take it in return, and we turn to dust. We are grateful for the many blessings in Joe's life. We now turn to you, seeking comfort and light. Harachaman, compassionate one, grant us solace and strength. Reinforce our faith, for you are our rock and our Redeemer. Amen.
I'll ask you to take the pamphlets in your hands and open it to the middle page where it reads the 23rd Psalm. And if you'll help read that in English, thus lending your voices to this tribute service today, I will follow that with the Hebrew rendition. Together, please. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house. Mismor David Adonai Roi lo Esan Benoteshi al Betseni al Memenuchot Haleni Nafshi Yeshover Yanecheni B'maglei Tzedek Leman Shemo Gam Ki Elech B'geit HaMavet Lo Yirara Ki Atai Madi Shivtecha Mishantecha Ema Yenachamuni Taroch Lefonai Sholecha Neged Torai Dishanta Vashem Roshi Kosi Revaya Al Tova Chesed Yirdefuni Kol Yemei Chayai Yushavti Bevet Adonai Leorech Yamim.
Kirachemav al banim richam Adonai al yireav. Ki hu yadai yitzrenu zachor ki afar anachnu. Enosh kechatzir yamav ketzitz hasadeh ken yatzitz. Ki ruach avrabo ve'enenu velo yakirenu od mekomo. V'chesed Adonai me'olam ve'ad olam al yireav. V'tzidkato livnei vanim. This is a selection of the 103rd Psalm. As a father has compassion for his children, God has compassion for those who show reverence. God knows how we are fashioned. God remembers that we are dust. The days of mortals are like grass. We flourish as the flowers of the field. A wind passes over them and they are no more, and no one can recognize where they grew. But God's compassion is everlasting. God's kindness to children's children, to all the reverent ones, endures age after age, unchanging. Psalm 34 teaches us that God is close to the brokenhearted and helps those crushed in spirit. Tell us, God, what our term is. Tell us the measure of our days. Were we to know, we would know then certainly how fleeting life is, how quickly we gray. You have made our life just handbreadths long. Its span is as nothing in your sight. No one endures any longer than a breath. We walk about as a mere shadow. Mere futility is our hustle and bustle. Amassing treasure and not knowing who will gather in. What then can we depend on God? We shall depend on you. In you lies our hope. There are some questions to which there are no answers. And what matters most is that we focus today on how Joe lived and how he showed his love. As Joe loved the holidays in Jewish tradition, it seems only fitting to mention that we are in the 7-week period between Passover and Shavuot. The rabbis in the Mishnah referred to Shavuot, the holiday where we celebrate the receiving of the Ten Commandments, as Atzeret. The fact that we recite Yizkor, memorial prayers on these holidays, reminds us of all whom we love are mortal, and that the time must come when we have to take leave of them as well. The word Atzeret, usually interpreted as final, also means retain. And it is taught that this, the closing day of the festival season, was the time when we sought to retain some of the religious fervor and the heightened spirit of the overall holiday seasons. It is human nature to hold on as long as we can to that which is precious to us. However, even when we must take a leave of one another, we can still retain that which is significant. For God has given us the power to remember. Memory is a faculty which enables us to make the past a present reality, and to keep alive the challenges surmounted, the joys experienced, the sorrows faced, all through the years that we were privileged to share with our beloved. And today, we come to share that memory of Joe Mittelman. He fought a hard battle. and his family supported his fight every step of the way. I was told that he wanted to fight because he had so much to live for, and he never gave up his intense year-and-a-half battle. Today we confront the realization that there is much in life as well as in death that is not under our control. There's an aspect of the life of of life that the biblical book of Ecclesiastes speaks about. That life is indeed exquisite and overwhelming in so much of its complexity, often defying comprehension. That's why I think the book of Ecclesiastes is written the way it is. But life is never all one thing. It's never all joy or all sadness. It's laughing and crying. It's dancing and mourning. We seek things, we lose things, and sometimes we never find them. And in life, we have good times and we have bad times, easy and hard. Ecclesiastes says there's a time for silence and a time for talking. Now is the time for talking. And I don't just mean for public speaking as we do today, but for continuing to share the stories of Joe's life. Today, tomorrow, and for all the tomorrows to come. And by doing so, we hope that there will be a beginning of healing for everyone. Kind, loving, dedicated, hard worker, protective, and family-driven. These are words that were used by members of his family to describe Joe. Born in post-war Poland to Mordechai and Adela, both of blessed memory, his parents survived the concentration camps only to lose their spouses and their children. They returned to their village, married, and had 2 more children, Joe and Henry. They moved to Kansas City when Joe was 18, and when his father got sick, he put his education on hold to support the family and to help put Henry through school. That sense of being a hard worker truly continued throughout his life and his career in the tool and die industry. He loved working. He loved working and talking with his co-workers. He would get up, I was told, at 4:30 every day, have his cup of decaf, and go off to work. And when he came home, took a nap, and then went to the gym. He was described as someone who was very, very bright. Speaking Yiddish, Polish, Russian, English, and Spanish. I'm told that if he was walking on the street and heard a language, he could usually make out what was going on due to his vast knowledge of being fluent in these 5 languages. His upbringing gave him a love of Judaism, but despite the challenges that existed for Jews in Poland after the Holocaust, he passed that love of Jewish tradition on to his children, raising them in a kosher home and helping to provide them with a Jewish education. He made his mother's latke recipe, and he ate them the Polish way, with sugar on top. He enjoyed spending time at Panera with his friends from the old country. He liked it because even though when he got sick, he liked it for many reasons, but among that, even when he got sick, he could just be quiet and listen to everyone else talk about their ailments. Family was indeed the most important thing in the world to him, and you will hear that echoed by members of his family in just a moment. Ellen, you were married for 46 years and were with him every step of his fight. You did a lot together, and you were there for him. You told me that every year you loved spending those 2 weeks in Puerto Vallarta. He loved it so much and sadly had to put a hold on it when he got sick. Your kids yesterday talked about you going back so that you can think about the good times that you spent there together. Travel in general was something you enjoyed, along with lifelong friends of yours when you would go out every week. You raised 2 sons together, who in turn gave you both 5 granddaughters. He always wanted girls. Monty and Lindsay and Sam and Jen, you said that as a father he would do absolutely anything for you and would help you with any task. You talked to him multiple times a day, and no doubt not having those phone calls will be incredibly hard for you. You also said that your dad always told you if you needed a ride somewhere, no matter what time of day, call and he would show up. And he definitely did. He never said no. And you both gave him a true gift in Sarah, Adeline, Allie, Maddie, and Emma. We hope that you will continue to share stories with your girls of their Zadie. Joe's brother and sister-in-law Henry and Irene, and Joe's sister-in-law Randy and Jeffrey. We are so sorry for your loss. Henry, some stories were shared with me of your upbringing together, and sharing that history together, I hope will help you hold on to your special memories. At this time, I'd like to pause to first invite Sam and Jen to come together, followed by Lindsay.
Thank you. I was supposed to write something before I came today, but I'm not good at communication skills with my wife all the time, and there was a little bit of a miscommunication. But I'm going to try to do it mostly from my heart. I received a text message from one of my friends, and he said he lived the American dream. He came here at 18 years old, created a family, created a life, a career. He was a good man. He was always there for us, regardless of what it was. We weren't the best kids. There's plenty of stories out there that I'm sure some of you know. But he was always there for us. No matter what kind of trouble or what kind of good things were happening, he was always there. I remember when I was in elementary school, they were doing a musical or a play at the school. And I came home one day and I told him, "Dad, I signed you up. You got to build the king's throne." You know, I figured he had machines and everything. He can do it. And he definitely didn't look happy at first, but he put a smile on and he built a great throne for the school. That's just one of the memories that I have. But besides that, you know, just over the last couple days, friends that I haven't heard from in many, many years talk about my dad and how good he was. He wasn't just a father, he was a friend. He was my best friend. And you know, not many people can say that, but that was the relationship I had with my father. I talked to him every single day, and I'm going to miss him. Here's the written part. Through his words and actions, Joe taught us all of us, the important values in life, and made sure everyone had fun while he was doing that. Now we'll have to adjust to a new kind of relationship with him. It will be sad, it will be different, but in the hearts of those who loved him, he will always be there, looking down on us, cheering us on, encouraging us through a challenging time, and smiling with us during our proud moments. Knowing my father's eternal optimism and hardworking attitude, there's a remembrance saying that resonates, and I think he'd want us all to think of. Remember the good with shared. Take time to celebrate me. Remember the joy and love we shared, and do not cry for me. I know that I will miss you and you will miss me too, but take time to smile for me when you're sad or feeling blue. As you hold me in your memory, even though we are apart, my spirit will live on forever in your heart.
Joe was an amazing man, father, and Zadie. He always put his family first. His family was the most important people to him. When Monty lived in the city, Joe would come down every weekend for lunch on either Saturday or Sunday. And once Monty finally had me meet his parents, I became part of these weekly lunches. Now, most girls probably would not enjoy these lunches, but I did. Joe treated me like I was his own. He welcomed me into the family from the moment he met me. When Monty and I were dating, we went to California with them for a bar mitzvah. Joe gave me a map to help with directions. It made me realize how much he trusted me and considered me part of the family. Once our girls were born, and Sam and Jen's too, he was the happiest man ever and such a proud Zadie. He loved seeing the kids every week for lunch and watching them grow. Monty would even FaceTime him every night from Whitehall so Joe could see the girls. Joe is the nicest, kindest, most caring man. He is so family focused and needed to talk to his children daily. And most importantly, his children wanted to and needed to talk to him daily. Sam and Monty have the most amazing bond with their father. More than just a father-son relationship, they are truly best friends. Everyone should strive to have that kind of relationship with their children. Joe, you will truly be missed, not just in the several times a day FaceTime calls, but in the kindness, caring, compassion, and love. I love you, and I'm so glad that you are a second father to me and a Zadie to our kids.
It is difficult to emotionally grasp the truth of what Ecclesiastes tells us. Eit laledet ve'eit lamut. That there is a time to be born and a time to die. Intellectually, we know that Ecclesiastes is right. Emotionally, a totally different thing. We find it difficult to accept the loss of a loved one who was so close and so dear, a friend to so many. We know that there will be a void in your lives and an emptiness that will remain throughout your lifetimes. And while we can't stop time, especially when it brings the death of a loved one, we can say that Joe's passing doesn't really mean his end. Because of the memories of what he leaves, of what Joe meant to family and to friends, that will continue to live on in your minds and most importantly in your hearts. No words at all can lessen the pain that you feel today or can express how much he is missed and always will be. But try as hard as you can to focus on all that he did and gave you with his love. Though incomplete in years, Joe's life was complete in so many other ways. And so I hope and I pray that you'll hold on to these thoughts, but most of all, hold on to each other in the difficult days to come. Some people come into our lives and quickly go. Some people move our souls to dance. They awaken us to new understanding with the passing of their wisdom. Some people make the sky more beautiful to gaze upon. They stay in our hearts for a while. They leave footprints on our hearts. And we are never, never the same. May the memory of Joe Mittelman be forever a blessing to all who knew and loved him. Amen. Those of you who are seated, if you're able, I will invite you to rise at this time for the memorial prayer.
מעלות קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים את נשמת יוסף בן מרדכי וידל שלח לעולמו בגן עדן תהא מנוחתו אהנה בעל רחמים הסירהו בסתר כנפיך לעולמים וצרו בצרור החיים את נשמתו אדוני הוא נחלתו וינוח בשלום על משכבו ונאמר אמן.
Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Joel Mittelman, who has gone to his eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May his soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. May he rest in peace. Amen. The words of mourners Kaddish speak not one word of death, they speak of life, they affirm life. And today, as we recite the words of Kaddish, we honor and affirm all the goodness and all the love in Joe's life. We help elevate his soul, and we comfort each other by reciting the words of Kaddish together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah ve'alma divrach kirutei ve'amlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael ba'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru amen Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'le'omaya Yitvarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei kudusha berichu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushvechata v'nechamata gamiran be'alma v'imru amen Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Oseh shalom b'mromav uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
That's good. Very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, prayers are a very important part of honoring somebody's memory, as are donations in their memory, which you can see in the pamphlet. There's multiple options for you to do something kind in Joe's memory. But what you can do now is really a sacred thing, and that is to lay him to his rest. And we do that in Jewish tradition by placing three measures of earth from the mound or from the smaller pail into the grave as a gesture of, if I may, tucking him in, putting a blanket of God's earth over top. You know, the Bible teaches us that mankind, that Adam, the first human being, was created from the dust of the earth. And so in some ways we're returning Joe back to the essence of life itself, to earth, to the beautiful earth on which he was able to live and create this beautiful family and amass this wonderful community of people that loved him. So what we're going to do is place 3 measures of earth into the grave. Then I ask you kindly to step away from it so other people have a free opportunity to move forward. We'd hate for anybody to bump somebody by accident and then we have an accident. Once you've completed your mitzvah, you can move away. You can go back to your car if you wish. If you want to remain for the complete coverage, you can stand around and do that. We ask you not to start socializing here. This isn't the time for that. There's time for that at the house during Shiva. But the unique way that we shovel is by taking this either small one, if you're going to use the pail, or the larger shovel, and we actually use the back of it for the very first shovel. At least that's my custom. To show your reticence, you don't want to shovel. It's not a usual thing that you're going to do like you would do in the backyard or if it snows or something. This is different. This is a holy reason. It has a purpose, and you're reticent. You don't want to do it, and so you make it hard and difficult. And you won't get a lot of earth on top of it, but that's okay. It's the gesture. Then you turn it over and do 2 more to show your full measure of love that you have for Joe and that you want to care for him one final time. It's a mitzvah that he can't do for you, obviously, at your time, when your time comes, but you can do something for him. So we'll invite the immediate family, of course, first to participate in the mitzvah, and then invite all of you that choose to come forward as well. So.
Friends, as you do come forward, please just watch your step.
I missed one instruction, which is when you're done with your own personal shoveling, put the shovel down, let the next person come up and pick it up by their own commission, by taking it in their own hands as something that they want to do and not something you hand to them as a responsibility that you've chosen for them.
Very close. Yeah, they're gonna grow up fast. That's rare, but yeah, we'll take it.
I traveled with your parents.
Oh, really?
On vacations.
Yeah, they love it. That's where he probably is, the Melikon.
Oh my God, every inch of 10,000.
Yeah, he loved it. He really did. Yeah. Oh, sure, that's why he probably loved it, you know? Yeah.
So cute. It's so cute.
Maybe tell my mom, look at her. Yeah, I was there. He started doing better, and then just was I'm sad, but I just think that I'm trying
He's
to be
not
positive.
okay.
Yeah.
He's not okay.
Just like, you know, his life wasn't always easy, but
But he enjoyed his life.
yeah.
He enjoyed his life. Oh my God. He talked about you guys when I was 10.
He loved his son.
You want to sit with him?
He loved his son.
Sit.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I heard you changed your plans to be here.
Yeah, we did. You're going to Springfield.
It means a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. You always enjoy talking to you. Yeah.
Awesome. This
Yeah.
yeah. Those are nice.
They told me to write them, and I guess that miscommunication, but
Friends, there are shovels on both sides. If you're going to come to the near side of the grave, it's a little more precarious. So
yeah.
please only come if you are of very sure footing.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I've got messages from my friends I haven't talked to in 30 years, and like, oh, I remember this when your dad would do this or do this. He'd always try to be there, you know, and to be a friend to everybody.
I know.
That's who he was.
Was that the
Wonderful. It was like I was listening to the words, and just everything was resonating. It's who your dad really was. He is.
Yeah, and he will be. He will be. It's nice that we got a lot of pictures these days and stuff like that. We had good memories. Went to Hilton Head a couple of years ago and had a great time and just everything. Yeah, we enjoyed it.
He certainly was a worker, but what I've heard made a lot of sense is that when he worked, he was with people.
He loved it.
Yeah.
He loved it. And he was proud of the work, too, that he did. You know, he's like, oh, you know, he was working 72 years old, 73 years old, and he would say, nobody else can do it. They need me to do it. You know, he was proud.
Can I borrow you for 1 minute?
Yeah. Thank you.
Back there. So you want this? Let's just take this so you have.
Yeah.
Flip out this way.
Do you want to watch the remainder of the earth? Yeah. Yes.
Because we decided, me and my brother.
And we're okay with the machine? It's going to be
a long time.
Yeah, it's heavy, very heavy to try. It's not safe. So you certainly we can watch. They'll do a little more. You can do a little more after we go.
You can do as much as you want.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Once you're ready, you can have it and fill it in. That
Oh my God, good for you. Keep going. 30 years.
Yeah. It's hard to do. that. He was a fighter. Yeah.
All the time I was there. Day in and day out. Nobody.
Well, he knew when you were there and you helped him through it.
Good to the family, to the children, grandchildren. Yes, I remember him. Lots of memories.
That's where he is now. That's
A lot of pictures. Sam said he got a lot of pictures recently. I'm over
Spend time together.
good with being with
Everybody. With everyone.
everybody.
Work till it was 72. He would go to work, and I would say, it's enough, it's enough. You know, he worked until I said so that he can't do it.
Sam said that Joe said that he thought he could do it better than anyone else anyway. He's trying to.
Nobody knew it.
Right?
He had the experience.
And when I talked to him, he told he loved work. It was more than just work. It was passion, profession, and friends. You couldn't have done it better.
I tried. You know, I went, I did, you know what, he was just bring him 9 o'clock this morning. Killed him everywhere. Heard him. Tried to the end, and he would, you know, they gave us for lunch. He would take one of the buses home.
Sure.
I was always with her when she was talking.
It's your
That's a
sister.
number of years. Good journey of years.
I have to be nice to her.
What a great testimony. Just listening to the words.
Those were his love. He would do anything for us. And now you're
I mean, like, they actually stopped doing that.
The grandkids.
Yeah, they
got to see him.
a couple of months ago they decided they heard about the leave
Yeah.
so
He enjoyed them.
Mike, especially miss that we did our life is a gift. Do it as a gift. Sure.
That's why she's keeping. They talked to her.
I have two guys, two carpenters, and then
What's for dinner? Where did you go? When they began? I don't know. Ever.
He battled.
he was a good man.
Yes, he was good to all of you guys. He was your best friends. Yeah, but he suffered. Got sick. Terrible. Never thought it was never.
You guys are always so hopeful.
Yeah, we kept going.
I signed it. I mean, you can do it.
Like mine, like it's a little bit like it's not always like that. Yeah, I think that's so close.
Sounds like it has some really beautiful architecture.
Somebody wants
Probably. Great place. Although they're gonna, tear up Green Bay Road shortly.
Oh, that's right. We had the best time there. He loved to walk by.
If there's anybody else who hasn't had a chance to come forward, I'd like you to do something.
Oh, let's. Yeah, go let's.
They used to tell people when we were young, my name is Goldblatt. All the stores, Goldblatt.
Is that your name? Oh, that's what you said.
Yeah.
No issue with that.
I think it's
You lived a good life. You did enjoy it.
yeah, the left side before of the light.
These are
You can see the shop.
Friends, in a moment, the staff here at the cemetery are going to place the remainder of the earth into the grave. We're going to ask your assistance just next to the tents in forming what's known as a shura, a double aisleway back towards the roadway. We want the members of the immediate family to be able to pass through in a few moments. We will offer them the traditional words given to mourners at this time. It also marks the transition, knowing we've done all that we possibly can for Joe, and now it is incumbent upon all of us to take care of each other, and most importantly, the members of the immediate family.
That's life. No, that's relevant. I'll see you later. Very good. It's No, it's in front of you. So they've got it like
Can't say no more.
That's it. That's it. Reputation.
My husband-in-law. And he always talked about it because he knew that family. Yeah, he loved it. So nobody sees
We got lucky a bunch of times. He got me. Before the cops did. He just said, and the truth is, he didn't want to. He didn't want to bail us all out. Straight to my house. Look like it's made of. Send it to my house. That's all mine.
Yeah, Sally told my buyer, like, what's wrong with you guys? You're getting something.
Trying to be
What they're doing. I wrote, what was your thought? What was your
I don't know where to put this. Give this to someone it flew away.
Friends, those of you who are not part of the immediate family, right here, if you would, just on the outside of the tent, if you would just form two parallel lines facing each other, our funeral director, Jeremy, will help you so that we can walk our family through and offer them these traditional words now that the grave coverage has been completed.
You would have been older.
As the family passes through, we say, Hamakom yenachem etchem b'toch sha'ara ve'leit Zion v'Yerushalayim. May God comfort you among the mourners of Zion in Jerusalem at this very sad moment in your lives. Thank you, everyone. You can break the line behind as they pass you.